Morning or good afternoon, everyone. My name is Johnny Girardi. I'm DataSelf's founder and CEO. Michelle, would you introduce yourself quickly, please?
Yes, my name is Michelle Nelson. I'm the BI solution consultant here at DataSelf.
All right, thank you. We're super excited to be part of this Varaka user conference. We've been working with Sage 100, me personally, as a BI reporting person for almost 20 years, and as part of DataSelf for 16 years. Sage 100 is our biggest client base. We have a lot of clients, but in Sage 100 specifically is our biggest client base. And probably because there are many challenges in reporting, dashboarding, analytics out of Sage 100. So that's why I think it continues to be our biggest client base. We support many other ERP systems, many competing products. And interestingly enough, for the past, in this year, 2021, Sage 100 became, again, the fastest growing market in DataSelf. So we're getting a lot of new clients this year. So hopefully what you're going to learn here today is going to give you some insights about how we have been helping companies using Sage 100 to do better reporting out of Sage 100. In the main pain points that we address, there are two main groups of people that see value in DataSelf. The first one are the people, kind of, the decision makers, the people signing the checks and making investments in technology. The main complaint or frustrations that we hear from that group of people is just flying blind. Too many times they want to make a decision based on their data in Sage 100. They know that data is there, but to see the information out of it just takes too long. It's complex, and then they have to make decisions with gut feeling only. And nowadays, with the way that the market conditions are, making gut feeling decision alone quite often can result in losses or missed opportunities. So main frustration from decision makers is flying blind, and they want to stop flying blind. They come to DataSelf. The second group of people is the people who actually have to support the decision makers, typically people in the accounting department, the IT department, business analysts, and these people, when they come to DataSelf, their frustration or complaints in Sage 100 is just being complex. Every time that a decision maker asks for a new report or dashboard, some kind of new data analysis, it takes a lot of time for them to get it together. Some using Crystal reports, some using Excel, a lot of time, a lot of work. Quite often it's slow when they press, okay, show me the data. The time that it takes for the report to actually finish, it can take a long time, 15 seconds, a minute, hours. Sometimes people have to run reports overnight because it slows down Sage and they have to only do it overnight. And sometimes it crashes. There's a lot of complaint when people come to us. This group of people complain complexity and time consuming. Those are the main pain points that we address. There's another benefit that we bring to the table that for many organizations is also very important is what are the things that I don't know about my business? Quite often, if you look at your decision makers, they are tracking some of your KPIs, some of your key metrics, key performance indicators. But what else should I be aware of? Sometimes the things you don't know are as important, sometimes more important than the things that you know. And with DataSelf, besides making reporting easier, faster, more intuitive, you can be on a mobile device and check your reports and dashboards. So we bring technology that makes reporting easier and faster, yes, and we'll show you some of this today. But as importantly, we have an extensive library of key performance indicators. There are reports and dashboards that plug and play to Sage 100, showing metrics that sometimes people realize, oh my God, why haven't thought about this before? And when they look at those KPIs, and sometimes they realize, oh my God, we're losing so much money here, or would be so many opportunities. So DataSelf in a nutshell brings three main values: easy or easier reporting, much easier than what you have today; faster reporting, primarily all reports in DataSelf run under 10 seconds, no matter how much data you have; And third, an extensive library of KPIs to help you look at corners of your business that maybe you're not paying attention today. What we're going to show here today, Michelle and I, we're going to go back and forth in this presentation, is starting showing you the 5 top dashboards used by our Sage 100 clients, looking at their operations, because our understanding that many of you are in the distribution and manufacturing business. Most of these dashboards are focused in companies doing distribution and manufacturing. If I'm not mistaken, 2 of them are generic to other industries as well. And then we'll show more towards the end of the session how easy it is to customize, build things from scratch, and allow decision makers to get answers to their questions anytime and anywhere. With that having said, Michelle?
Yep, that was great. So let's share my screen here. I wanted to talk, Johnny, a little bit about, did I share? Here we go.
There you go. Thank you. Yep.
Just kind of the architecture of how we get data out of Sage and into our data warehouse and then use Tableau. Do you want to kind of expand on that?
Yeah. When I mentioned that, we make it easier and faster, this is, how the magic is done. It's not magic, it's technology. I mean, this is really technology that typically only Fortune 2000 companies take advantage of, or when mid-sized companies try to use it, it's expensive. We make that kind of technology easy and affordable. And at the end of the day, what we do is we use data warehousing, meaning we take copies on a scheduled basis of your data out of your Sage 100, and we store it in a data warehouse. Can be in the cloud, can be on premises, anyhow. We store the data in a data warehouse that is much easier and faster to report out of it. And then we connect tools like Tableau, Power BI, and Excel. If you haven't heard, Tableau and Power BI for the past 5-6 years in a row, they have considered the most user-friendly tools out there when it comes to reports and dashboards. Meaning users with little training, they can actually build, modify, slice and dice their data without calling the experts. So it's very empowering. And out of the box, we have this thing that can be deployed in about half an hour. So we take this framework, we install in your local network, we extract your data pretty much in less than 30 minutes. When you go to DataSelf after this 30-minute deployment, everything that Michelle is going to be showing you will be available with your system, and that's how the magic or the technology brings its value.
All right, well, let's show the magic then, right?
There you go.
So as Johnny mentioned, we have more than a few different tiers. We're going to show you what we call our advanced analytics as the title states, but we have other tiers. We have more dashboards and reports at different tier levels, but we're going to show you our advanced and our top 5 here. So I just wanted to kind of show you the menu driven options here, where we can see all the sales invoices, inventory, financials. If you have your CRM, you can connect your CRM as well. So as Johnny mentioned, we have, popular dashboards here, and we're going to start at going down from the top 5 to number 1. So our top number 5 is our year-over-year sales. This is going to show you how you're doing year over year by customer, by product, where you're shipping those items to, and looking at the variances as well as percentage-wise. So over here, you'll be able to set up different parameters to look at the different KPIs. So if I want to compare, 2021 to up to through, let's see, September, we've got all that data. I just hit apply, so I'm kind of comparing apples to apples. Now on every one of our sales dashboards, you'll be able to see the different measures. So we can look at it by sales, cost of sales, gross profit, or quantity sold. But in this view, I can see year over year, and then the negative variances. And then of course, this is a very interactive dashboard, so I can drill into any component I want. If I want to look at this particular customer's negative variances of what they're not purchasing as much this fiscal year as they did in the prior fiscal year, I can look at and see that particular product isn't being purchased. And so this is going to give you some great insights just for, even looking at it in this view. Now we also have other parameters such as your salesperson. So if you want to see, what they're selling year over year, you can kind of compare their sales as well. Anything you want to add to this report, Johnny?
Yep. I think the interesting thing about this report is, again, especially for companies that are sales driven, it's very common for people to try to understand, the sales team or the upper management to understand what's happening in sales this year, this period, past few periods, and quite often comparing to the same period last year. What happened last year? I know 2020 was pretty different. It was crazy, right? It's still crazy. Maybe, people want to skip that prior year, but overall, this year-over-year sales dashboard is actually the #1 most popular in our client base, because salespeople and managers, they're always looking this year's what's happening with my customers, with my products, with my service, with my territories, from a high level standpoint, like you're seeing here. And then when you see something great or bad, you can quickly click the data point, see what, how the data point is affecting the other data points. And then if you want to drill down to the details, in a 2 extra clicks, you can actually see invoice details, invoice number, invoice date, quantity sold. So it's very intuitive to go from a high level perspective to the detail. These dashboards are usually the starting point. When a client here, Michelle is showing how to get to the details of all the data behind what you clicked on the high level dashboard. But all these dashboards are usually a starting point for clients. And if they want to customize, want to add user-defined fields, is something that someone with a little bit of training, they can heavily customize these dashboards. And again, as a starting point, very popular dashboard. Thank you, Michelle.
Yep. So our second one is going to be the financials. So we want to look at the health of our organization year over year, how we're doing. Again, as Johnny mentioned, our 2020 is probably not really comparable to 2021 and probably will change going forward. So, but it's always good to look back and see, what is our revenues and operating expenses year over year. So those kind of net profits, you got your simple P&L down there. And we're looking at some KPIs, whether it's your wages or your operating expenses, again, year over year. And again, everything is, interactive, and you can hover over and see the details as well. Anything you want to add to this one, Johnny?
I always have something to add.
Then I'll just say, Johnny.
To me, it's always about the use case. I think this dashboard is so popular because a lot of people in the finance department, the CFO, the controller, the accounting manager, they want to see, or the other, C-level people in the organization is always asking, how are our financial metrics doing? And this dashboard is actually, again, usually a starting point to tell these people, hey, this is what you get out of the box. So what you're seeing right now is an out of the box, plug and play. First day you see this. But what really do you care in your business? What financial metrics do you want to keep track every day, every week, every month? Maybe you want to see your wages versus your revenues, your gross profit. And then once you define which of these ratios do you want to keep track, which of these training analysis you want to keep track, someone with a little bit of training would go to this dashboard and tweak it and adapt it, and then make it available to those decision makers that need to see financials. And part of the story is DataSelf is not only for distribution and manufacturing companies looking at the operational side. No, we can look at any data. And absolutely, the GL side of business has a lot of critical information. And this dashboard is usually a good starting point to understand what's available out of the box, and how can you or someone more technical, with a little bit of training, can customize to make available to other decision makers. Thank you, Michelle.
Great point. Our third most popular dashboard is what we call our hot and cold. I really like this one. It really can do a lot with this particular dashboard. So you're looking at your top sales per period and who's growing from that period to the next. And again, you still have those measures as far as your sales, quantities sold, cost of sold, gross profit. So you can look at any measure you want. But again, it's telling you your top sales by customer. And it's also telling you your declining sales and who is actually not at all purchasing this particular period. And you can adjust those periods as well. This is input fields. And we're looking at the top 12. So you can adjust that to top 5, top 25. You can look at, whatever value you want to look at. I can also change this to a different parameter as well. So if I want to look at my top products, I would change that to, which products are, my top sales products, which ones aren't selling this period. And that really just gives me a quick insight by just, toggling between the different parameters. And Johnny, what do you have to say about the hot and cold dashboard?
Who doesn't like hot stuff? I mean, it depends what hot stuff you're talking about. Jalapenos, I sometimes can take them. But this dashboard, it's interesting when clients look at this dashboard, and Michelle was showing, hey, by default, you can see by customer, by product, by territory. So you can see it hot and cold. Quite often, the hot ones are not surprising because these products or customers are buying more, they are big, you have to know who they are. What usually I see on the hot side is sometimes a client is getting hotter, being bigger or growing faster, but the resources, your allocation to that client are not enough. And maybe you are not making them faster because you're not giving enough the right people, maybe the right different department, maybe whatever you need to put resources to be sure they are fulfilled and they get whatever they ordered out of the door. So one of the biggest surprises that sometimes I hear out of the hot area is, wow, I didn't know this client was so big. Are we giving them enough attention? And sometimes they're not. So that's a common surprise when people see this. But most importantly, in this dashboard is the cold side. The cold side is a human problem. I'm a salesperson like Michelle as well. We are involved in sales things. We contact people, we send emails, we leave messages, and then we check a box. Okay, this person I emailed, I contacted them. And then the next time they follow up with this person again depends on my own schedule. Sometimes it can take days, weeks, and even months to call them again. And sometimes these customers, because the cold ones, because they're starting to go down in business with you, they're no longer buying with you. Maybe there's something wrong that if you don't give them a special attention, maybe you have to visit them. Maybe you have to, don't just leave a message. So it's not uncommon for companies to realize a customer, a product is no longer selling after too much time. Sometimes the client is gone. If you had a time to fix it, was weeks ago, months ago, and when you got to know, it's too late. So it's very often when people open this dashboard and they start looking at the code side, they realize some problems, and if they realize in a timely fashion, they can fix it. If it's too late, it's too late. So this dashboard is very popular, usually more because of the cold side than the hot side, because of human nature.
That's a great point. And then, of course, we get into, our AR aging. This is always an important one. We want to know, what our accounts receivable looks like as far as our on time, what's past due. This gives you kind of everything in one view, which is great. So we can see by customer, by salesperson, by ship to, and then of course the aging details as well. And again, as I mentioned, it's all very interactive. So, everything to the right of this little dotted line looks good. Everything to the left is past due. I can click on that, drill into the customer, the salesperson, and get the details of why this one is so past due. So this is a great, really quick view of looking at your accounts receivables and being able to drill into that as well. What's your comments on this one, Johnny?
So interestingly, my tongue today is messed up. But interesting thing here is, since the pandemic hit, AR aging became a more popular dashboard. And I think because either you have a lot of money now because you got money from the government, or you don't because you're in trouble. And the sooner that you as a business, you realize where each of your clients are, the more quickly you can adapt your business, your conditions to deal with those clients, especially that are in tough financial situations. So this dashboard, I think, became more popular more recently because of visibility of looking at problems in the receivables and hopefully you work early on to help the clients if they're in trouble, or if minimize the impact in your business that those clients in trouble can affect your cash flow. Until this year, AR aging was not among the top 10. I mean, a top 5. They were among the top 10 most popular, but since the pandemic, it becomes part of the top 5. So I think the most important reason is people are looking more closely of what their clients are going through with this whole crisis, and trying to manage cash flow by being more on top of the AR side of the business.
Right. Right. And I just want to add for that one, because we do have, our inventory. We know that the shipping is one of our biggest issues, and we can't get things on time. And that's another big one. I think that will probably hit the top 5 this year. Johnny, what do you think?
Very good point. Inventory management. Inventory management, looking what you have on hand today, what's inbound, meaning what's coming from overseas, what's stuck in ports, what is in production but you don't have raw materials. I know a lot of clients that are struggling with the logistics of their raw materials or products. So yeah, it makes sense. I think when we run again this analysis of which reports are more becoming more popular, probably the inventory side of it, especially from manufacturing distribution companies, is going to go up in popularity.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that because we have the crisis of the ports not being able to deliver items and not enough workers.
We need to do something about the toilet paper. We can't live without them.
I know. But one of our last favorites is going to be the daily flash. This is a great report showing you every day what your daily sales look like, cost of sold, gross profit. And again, we can see all the details on this particular dashboard by looking at where things are being shipped to, which customers are purchasing, who's selling, which products. And again, it's very interactive, being able to drill into, if it's red, then it's a little low on the gross percentage. And then of course our blue is a little over 50%. So it kind of gives you an indication of the gross profit by customer, by product. And Johnny, what do you have to say?
This dashboard is usually a frustrated manager dream. Because if a manager is data-driven, they want to see what's going on and where they are being successful and where they're failing. They want to know this today, not a week from now, not a month from now. They don't want their boss or whoever their stakeholder is to be telling what the heck this is bad. They want to be proactive, knowing things before someone else complains. And this was actually the beginning of this Daily Flash initiative that we created. Is what this says, is a daily flash. Pretty much the idea is every day you can open your daily flash dashboard that will show what KPIs, what metrics do you care about. This one specifically, what we're showing is a sales daily flash that typically account managers, VP of sales, they'll take this one. Sometimes it's good as is out of the box. Sometimes they want to change it. Instead of looking at gross profit, they want to see quotas. Is it green, red, and yellow based on how far into the quota you are? Anyhow, the idea is every account, every decision maker in an organization, they should have their daily flash or maybe their weekly flash. If they don't care about what happens today, only what happens this week. The idea is to have a dashboard that has the main KPIs. They can see the main data points that influence those KPIs and highlight, like in this case, red means, in this case, bad. And maybe if you have green would be great. If you have yellow is kind of, not so good. So they can quickly look at those things. If there's nothing to be acting on, great. You like in 15 seconds, you see, no problem, you close. If there's something you're not aware, something that you need to act on, you look at the data and then you call someone to take care of the problem. So to me, Daily Flash is a way to not look at the things on the rear view mirror. Oh my God, a month ago, if I just knew a month ago about this. The idea is no, today, So you can act on things when you can, not later on. And it's an amazing, a lot of the things in DataSelf, they are not necessarily ready out of the box. Like this one maybe is not ready for your sales team yet, but the idea that it inspires, the conversation inspires on people, hey, I want my daily flash. Does DataSelf have something that I can start? Well, if you're in sales, this is one example. What do you want to be customized here? What do you want to change? And then we can teach you, or we can use our own services to customize the dashboard to be exactly the way that each one of your decision makers, or group of decision makers, want to have the daily flash automatically available on a mobile device, on a web, or automatically emailed. This is interesting as well. Many people, they don't have time to go to look at their dashboards. They don't want to have time to go to a portal. Well, we can, the system can you explain the auto
Yeah,
subscription?
definitely. So as Johnny's mentioning, we can subscribe to any of these reports or the entire workbook, which might be a lot, but you can add subscriber users here. So if you want to be create a group, or maybe just yourself, and then you have the ability to set up a view. So for instance, if I want to see, maybe I want to see cost of sales or by quantity sold, I can change those views and then send them that way. Then you have the option to send it via image or PDF, and then you can send it to yourself every day. So you have daily schedules. You can send it, daily, weekly, monthly. So you can just set up the different schedules, and that will be emailed to you every day. So you don't have to come in here and log in. You just kind of get a quick preview of what the daily sales look like. Obviously, it's going to be of yesterday when you refreshed your data. So so every day you'll have those daily sales amounts by using that subscribe.
And by the way, the data from yesterday is if you go with the first tier of our product. If you go with higher tiers, you can refresh this more frequently, every hour, even every minute if your data supports.
And of course, you can always manually refresh anytime.
Right. Now, one thing that when we show this subscription, that many people in Sage 100, they think is this the same as Sage Alerts? Sage Alerts is powered by Knowledge Sync, for those of you who have been around. And if you look overall, yes, this is the kind of the same functionality as Sage Alerts, yes. However, as Michelle was showing, anyone that have rights can actually subscribe. So if you're an account manager, if you're the company owner, if you're the CFO, and you want to receive this dashboard automatically in a certain schedule, and you have the right to click the subscribe button, which is harmless, you're not going to break anything, meaning you can do it. You don't need to call the IT. You don't need to call someone else outside and tell them what you want, when you want it, and then wait for them to set it up. This is part of our framework. It's self-service, meaning a lot of the things that decision makers want or they want to do with their data, if you give them the power and you control, sometimes it can be dangerous, right? But you can control what they can do. They can do a lot without calling the consultants and the IT people and the accounting. They become more self-sufficient. And the good news is they're more self-sufficient. They're going to make more informed decisions in a timely fashion without having to call and wait for someone else. So yes, in a way, this can replace or can complement Sage Alerts with the benefit of being more self-service. You don't need to know SQL and all of those things that Sage Alerts requires. Nope, it's easy and it's fast, and it's designed for users to be more in control of their own decision-making support system.
Well, that just leads to my segue of how they can have control over what they build. So you have the ability to create your own reports, but we also have what we call our natural language query, which allows us to kind of build our own reports by just asking it a question. And I'm going to log in here, it's checking my verification, my credentials. But up here, you'll see a little, you can just type in there. So if I want to look at, let's see, sum of sales in 2020, it'll start looking for data that matches that. So sum of sales with date in 2020. So now I can see that. Now I want to look maybe by salesperson, and I can just continue to add on to it. And you can look at it in different views. If I just want to look at it in a text table or pie chart, I can change the parameters, but it allows me to kind of just build a report based on, maybe when I'm looking for a quick number and I just want to look up, Steve Church sales for the year in 2020. And, you can even drill down further by month and so on. But it gives you the ability just to ask a question.
Michelle, does it mean that, you have to have middle school completed to do this?
Well, I would think middle school would be helpful, but probably not. Maybe elementary.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is one of the things that sometimes when we are showing this kind of functionality to, especially people that have what we call legacy kind of systems on premises, like Sage 100, that is not web-based. Reporting is usually something that you need to have like a computer science degree almost to be able to do any kind of reporting with customization. And one of the features that DataSelf brings to the table is what Michelle is showing, which is called natural language query. Natural language query, it's a 5-6 years old technology, so it's no longer a baby, kind of, a toddler. So it's been around already for several years. It's not perfect, but whatever that it does is almost like magic. It's no magic, it's technology. It uses artificial intelligence, machine learning, all of this, fancy technology world that maybe people hear in Facebook and whatever, that who cares in a way if you're in business, at least, you're not dealing with that market specifically. But we're bringing that kind of, machine learning, artificial intelligence to mid-sized companies that have real problems with their clients, with their inventory, with their receivables, in allowing decision makers, usually in plain English. If you have to know English, that's the only language supported. So you need to have at least probably elementary probably is too little, but as long as you know English and you make a question here, the tool will try to understand your question and will try to find the answer. And if you articulated the question correctly, and the tool has the data point, the answer will be instant and accurate. And that's the magic. A lot of the times when decision makers have a question, many times the question is a search away like this, like in Google or Bing. You put a question, you get a bunch of hits, you select the right one, you click, and you get the article. Here, you get a report on the dashboard. We have many of our clients, decision makers, that this functionality became the place to go. Usually, if it's a simple question, a simple number, a simple trend, they ask, they get the answer, can be on a mobile device, and off they go. This kind of technology is evolving. If you look 5-10 years out, I think it's going to become more and more empowering, and it's fascinating, and it's amazing how it will help decision makers be more self-sufficient when it comes to answering their questions from their own data.
Yep. And the other component besides the natural language query is if you do want to build a report, you can do that as well. So you would just select new workbook. And the great part is you got access to all the data, right? So as Johnny mentioned, to really put in the data in the hands of those who know it best. So sales knows sales, accounting knows AR, inventory, operation guys knows inventory. So being able to give that data to the people who really know it best and let them build reports they need, I think is very key. So you would just connect to that data. And over here on the left, you'll see all the different fields that are populating from that data set. So you've got all these fields, and then we have all the KPIs and measures down here. And Tableau is pretty straightforward to use. You can just drag out a field and it just populates the sheet. Now I can drag over a measurement such as sales, and again, it just populates. And then of course, if I want to look at it, by a particular date or maybe a branch, I could drag up the branch to the columns. And then of course, I want to look at it by doc date as well. I can drag that up there. And now I'm looking at by branch, by year. Now everything can be created as a filter. You just click show filter. And if I only want to look at 2021, and I just populate that, I can see by branch, year over year. And then of course I can expand out to quarters if I wanted to, month or day. And then you decide, well, I don't want that. I don't want that. I just drag it out. And now I've got by year, by month, or if I want to drag out month, just to create a quick little report. And of course, you can drag over additional fields if I want to look at quantity sold and sales together as well, or even just kind of play around and drag it up. So it's very flexible to be able to just, build a report off that. You can always add additional sources if you want to combine data from maybe sales orders or something like that as well. Any feedback from you, Johnny, on this particular tool?
So this is what Michelle is doing now is, if you try to compare to what you're probably using today out of your Sage 100, is this would be a replacement or a complement to your Crystal reports and to your Excel reports, which is usually what people do out of Sage 100. They usually use Crystal or Excel. And then typically to do those things, you have to know quite a bit the Sage 100 database structure, how to connect to it, how to pull into Crystal and Excel, how to build formulas. It's not simple. That's the thing that I told at the beginning. Every time that people need to build a new reporting out of 100, it's a lot of work, and you need to know a lot of things. With DataSelf, and we're not going to cover this today, this is a platform that comes pre-configured out of the box. So in half an hour, we bring up and running with a bunch of things. But then when you go to customize it, right here, this is the report editor, like Crystal is a report editor. This part is how you create a new report. You go to the report editor, and on the left side where you see SA sales, what is SA sales? Well, out of the box, we already have linked all the 100 tables you need for sales. Invoice header, invoice detail. We have linked with the customer table, with the salesperson table, the ship to table, the item table. All of those things that people usually build and link every time, and they figure out how to do it, is all pre-linked. And when you go here, you see the list of fields that usually people want for sales analysis. And the names are already business friendly: customer name, product ID, salesperson ID. So if you're a business person and you want some of the fields, once you have validated, you, the business analyst, the accounting person, you validated, yes, DataSelf has mapped. Maybe you have fixed some of the fields that you guys use in a different way. We have brought user-defined fields. Once this is added to this list, building a new report is drag and drop. Adding filters is a couple of clicks away. It becomes much easier and faster for a non-expert to do things that sometimes takes hours in Crystal, in Excel. Sometimes you can do in minutes, and it becomes web-based. And now the person who requested, as soon as you save it, this person can be in Hawaii. They just open their mobile device, like an iPad or an Android phone, and they can see the thing that you did back on your system. So it's easy for someone with a little bit of training to build reports and dashboards from scratch, easier, faster. More people will be able to do it if you don't give them those rights. In sharing the reports, collaborating with the reports is easier because it's all web-based. And again, you can schedule them. Hey, now I want to take this report and automatically email to 20 people anytime, once a day, once a week. All those things that you can learn, things that you can do, and you can take ownership, you can do maintenance and run the solution. Easier, faster, and management will be no longer flying blind, but use information for better, more timely decision-making.
And what about user-defined fields, Johnny?
User-defined field, or the UDFs, as they're very known in the Sage 100, is something that pretty much every deployment, it's customized. And adding user-defined fields is usually part of the deployment. So within that half an hour, sometimes if it's just 2, 3, it's just part of the half an hour. Sometimes people have a lot of UDFs all over the place. It can take hours and sometimes even days to map the UDFs into this, we call the data panel here. But it's a one-time thing. Once we add the UDFs to the sales, every time you want to have the UDF in an existing sales report or a new sales report, You just will drag and drop the new entry, the new UDF entries into the report, you save it, and you're done it. So it's fairly straightforward to, once they have been mapped, to make them part of the existing or new reports and dashboards.
So that's to me, that's the magic, is the ETL plus. That's where we add those UDFs. That's where we can, add additional tables or sources. So that's to me, the magic, because you can do so much there and you got everything in one place. And then you have the power to build reports off of, just about anything if you have data in different places. So the last thing did you want to mention is talk about the pricing?
And before you can go to that page, while I just want to talk about another thing. In Sage 100, many people use the Providex version, and some are using the SQL version. And many people that are using Providex, they have more challenges with reporting because Providex is slow, it's moody sometimes, and people have a lot of complaints about Providex as a source database. We've been working with Providex for 16 years. We have a very fine-tuned ETL process to get data out of Providex and make it easy and faster, like we showed today. So no matter what your Sage 100 system is, Providex, SQL, whatever it is, doesn't matter even the version. Are you 2 years old with your Sage 100? Are you 5 years old? Are you 10 years old? No matter what you have with Sage 100, we have a platform to support you and get your reporting to the next level. If you have multi-company, if you have multi-currency, if you have a lot of add-ons, we have designed our BI solution to be flexible and to be customized to the unique reporting needs of our clients. So if you have pains with reporting, most likely we have a painkiller for you. Talk with us. We'll discuss your needs. We'll see what you're doing. We can give an assessment of time and money. And usually our approach is usually significantly faster and lower cost than the alternative. So hopefully we can help you get out of the painful mess Sage 100 reporting situation.
So just to kind of talk about the different tiers, as we were mentioning today, we showed you basically a subset of what you get with advanced analytics. That was the different reports, on dozen reports that you get out of the box. This starts at a $3.99, but we also have, as I mentioned, a 30-day free trial, which we again can deploy in 30 minutes to get you kind of giving you a little taste of it. And then you can always start there and grow into hundreds of dashboards in our pro level, which gives you more refreshes, as Johnny mentioned. You get more training. And then of course our enterprise level, which gives you the thousands, and you can refresh as often as a minute. And we also have Delta refreshes, so we can just refresh just what needs to be updated, what's new in the system, that again that makes that refresh a little faster. Anything you want to add on this page, Johnny?
Yeah, so first of all, everything that Michelle showed you today is part of the advanced analytics package, even the trial version. If you go even with the trial version for 30 days, everything we showed here today is available part of the trial version. If you decide that you want to continue with the solution, then it becomes $3.99 per month, and that includes 20 users. So for up to 20 users, everything we showed you for $3.99 per month. Many of our 100 clients, they stay there because there's a lot of power of this advanced analytics offer. It's called advanced for a reason. It's because it's usually way better, faster, easier than what people do in Crystal and Excel. But many organizations, they have more sophisticated reporting needs, more data sometimes, a lot of reports that are behind schedule, they're struggling. Sometimes they need to consolidate data across multiple companies, multiple databases. So if you have a bigger business with more complex reporting needs, that's where the Pro and Enterprise come to place. Again, is not switch and bite. Nope. Many people start with the free version and they go to advanced and they stay there forever because it's all that they need. But if you are bigger, have more complicated needs, then the Pro and Enterprise bring even more power, more reports and dashboards, and more data warehousing and Tableau and functionality to take those businesses to the next level. I pretty much tell people we're here to give you, to get out of the traditional reporting and go into the BI journey, the business intelligence journey. Business intelligence pretty much allowing decision makers to make more timely and accurate decisions based on facts. And our goal is to get you from zero to start crawling, walking, running, and eventually flying. So our journey is to help you go to the business intelligence journey inexpensively, quickly, in providing services, training, support, customization, if or when needed. And at one point in the future, you decide to become independent. Okay, I'm going to take what DataSelf did for me, and I want to build my own. I want to take my own data warehousing out of the DataSelf framework on premises or Azure, AWS, whatever you want. You want to have your own Tableau Power BI licenses. We will absolutely help you detach from the DataSelf system so you can own everything and take it off. We have helped a small number of clients in that journey. When they say, hey, we outgrew DataSelf, we have hired a bunch of people to do our own BI. Are we stuck with you guys? Nope. If you don't see value in our business, in our technology, you can just buy the templates, download the backups, and run with it. We are here to help you fly, to help from zero, crawling, walking, running, flying. And while we're adding value, we're happy. We're all data geeks. We live and breathe data every day, and we're always passionate and excited to help our clients be more successful with more informed decisions. That's what we do every day.